2026-06 for lots 5-1 and 5-2, Block 11, municipality that was zone change from R1, one-family dwelling, to R2, multi-family dwelling, zone for the proposed construction of a duplex on each lot for family and rental units. Applicant was Richard Arceo, continues to Junior.
So moved.
Motion by Nate. Yes. Okay, second by, any second? By Robert? Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sorry, Bree. Moving on. Item B, street name request connecting to challenge spotting. So, this street is located off Woodstock Road. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Wilson Townhomes and also where the dementia center is at. So it's basically when you go into the end of challenge spotting, it splits left and right. So the residents within that area are trying to get a street name for that particular area due to the fact for, I believe, postal delivery, my understanding. So we came up with, I tried to reach out to that area as far as significance, because whenever we're naming a street or a particular road or whatnot, we try to get the significance of the particular area so that we can, if it was a family that was there, maybe we can get after the family or whatnot. But I tried to gather information. There's not much as far as the Terry Martin that's facing that area. But I've come up, because it's Challenger Spatial coming up, the road already. I thought that when we come to the end and it's just left and right, we could call that particular area Beraden Spatial instead of Challenger. Beraden and Chamorro is like to turn kind of. So basically, on both sides of the end of Challenger Spatial, where you go left or right, you have to turn around, and that's a one-way in, one-way out kind of area. Discussion? Yeah.
I'm indifferent.
So this is recommendation.
Yes, that's what I recommend as we, for that particular street here. Beraden is partial, because the road already, from the office was Challenger Spatial. So, any discussion on this?
So, Mayor, given that you have the authority over that jurisdiction, and you would know best as far as I would support your suggestion.
Okay.
And move forward with that. That's what I want.
Thank you. So, any other discussion? Is the motion on the floor to support the name as far as what I recommended for Beraden Spatial for that particular area? Make a motion. Okay. Motion by Nick to support the name to Beraden Spatial. Second by Ed. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes Beraden Spatial.
Go through the post office.
Okay, moving on, guys. Item C, street name, another street name request going to Pacific Rim off of Route 3 NCS. So, basically, this area off of Route 3, I did some research as far as land management is concerned. It was once upon a time owned by the Uggan family. They have since sold the property to Pacific Rim, and Pacific Rim is looking to name that particular road. Right, if you guys are familiar with Pacific Rim off of Route 3, it's basically where Finn Restaurant is at. So if you're at the parking lot of Finn Restaurant and you're directly across, there's a little retaining wall that Pacific Rim have built, and that still is their property on the outside. So they're needing to name that particular road that goes back there. So another suggestion that I was thinking was, as far as the road is concerned, for the name is Southern Pacific or Pacific Way?
Pacific.
Southern Pacific, okay, that's where we're good for discussion. What comments?
No, I bring this up because can we just make sure that clarify and make sure there's no other roads?
Of course, yeah, that's
I share that from an emergency responder perspective.
Yeah.
Because we have multiple names that are saying the same, and,
Yes.
they could easily send the wrong names to the wrong date. So
Yeah.
just, we can just clarify as far as, the name, if there's no time specific rule or whatever it is that we decide, or that decided, I'm good with it as long as we're not doubling or tripling up on.
Okay, so I believe there is a child Pacific group, if I'm not mistaken. Not in Denver, not in another village. if I'm
I
not
think the
mistaken.
village still is an issue, right? You just don't want it on
Oh, yes, there is a child Pacific group there, no, sorry. Thank you,
island.
staff.
Okay,
Yeah.
don't go there.
Yeah,
Okay, so Child Pacific Group is, yes, that's right, I've been to Child Pacific Group, my bad. So, Child Pacific Group's out of the question. So, what do you guys think as far as Child Pacific or Pacific Way?
I would like to say stick with Challen. I
Okay.
think we really need to just be more consistent, and I'm all about indigenous stuff using our language, so this is just my point, I'm only one person member here. But I'm gonna say, let's stick with Challen, and what did you say, not Pacific Way?
Pacific
He
Way.
just said Pacific.
Okay, so Challen Pacific.
Okay, but back to the next comment, we wanna make sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanna make sure that there's no other Child Pacific.
So can I ask that we table this until next month?
Yes.
And the only reason is we should do research. I don't know, because Guam, I'm from here, not Guam, but there's so many ways when you're trying to Google stuff, it doesn't come up. So I just think we need to, like, in our due diligence, do it right and have the staff research it. If there's any other name, if it's child specific, then we can honestly make an informed decision next month and not rush this.
That, we can table it, yes,
Yes.
that's fine. For the sake of the emergency responders, right, and everybody in particular.
Yeah.
One particular emergency responders, we want to get them confused as far as there's a child, if they Google Child Pacific, it might come up in Georgia, there's a Child Pacific or whatnot, so, okay, we'll just go ahead and do a little more research as far as if there is any other, roads that are named Child Pacific, and we'll table it until the next meeting.
Can you just make that the practice for any of the requests then?
Yes,
Yeah,
going forward as far as names.
Like coming here,
thank you.
Coming-
Yes.
like when you bring the name, the suggested names, because you have good suggestions, it would have already been vetted,
Yeah.
right? Before you
Yeah.
bring it in, we just vote to support you,
Okay,
knowing that it,
yes, thank you, noted. So,
Because you're
we'll
not
do
talking.
more research on that.
just kidding.
Alright, any other questions or comments on the item C?
Table them.
Let's see.
Actually, all of them are tabled.
Alright,
There's another one.
moving forward, on to, new business.
It's another-
It's another street name request connected to, Chatham Castro.
Yeah.
So this is off of Route 3, again, up towards Cap Blas. Yeah, it's actually before Cap Blas, so it's right after Chatham Munoz on the right side. So when you go into Chatham Castro, it's gonna be on your left-hand side, that first or second left. I believe there's a map that's attached
Yes.
to,
Yes. So Mayor, would you just table all the, because there's another one after this, right?
Yes.
For Magsaysay, so
So,
can we just,
actually, okay. So, no, street name, request item A, connected to Chatham Castro. There is no Barada Castro, that one I can for sure tell you. But with back to that Pacific one, that one I can't really use.
Okay.
Barada Castro.
100% sure.
I did research on the Google Maps, and as far as I know, there was nothing called a Barada Castro.
Bernardo?
Barada.
Oh, Bernardan.
Bernardo
Yeah, that's right. It's an yeah.
what is you, the tomorrow words?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for sure there's no Barada Castro. So, Yes, that is my suggestion to make, because it's like almost, if you see the map, it's almost like a quarter stack in there. There's a
What
few
does
houses,
Badalga mean?
but on it means like turn.
Turn,
Oh, good,
Yes.
but the,
I know, what does the family, or have we asked people around that, any suggestions? You know, like you said, it's true, I think, since I've been here, you guys do a due diligence in getting the people in that area or family to like suggest anything. Did they suggest anything?
There's only several that they said, this is their exact words, Mayor, we leave it up to you guys.
Okay.
That was their exact words, yes. So, is there a motion on the
So
floor?
moved. Sorry.
So is there a motion on the floor to support the road off of Chatham Castro or quarter stack off of Chatham Castro without a test?
So moved.
Okay, motion by Amy, second by Ed, all in favor?
Aye.
But yes, duly noted on that, Dr. Regarding the street names going forward. Okay, item B, street name, request on Masaysay Street.
But rather than this posture.
So this is off of, West Exxon Road, off of Route 28. Before that, it's right across, the entrance to a Stilbo Elementary, So right across is Masaysay Street. So when you go into Masaysay Street, it's on the left-hand side. This is for the safety purposes for postal.
Is that the dollar?
No. Dollar Homes is on the left. If you're coming off of Route 1,
Okay,
okay, you come off of Route 1, you're traveling on Route 28. Dollar Home, aside with the Nazareth, is on your left-hand side.
got it.
Yeah, Masaysay Street is on the right-hand side. Right across on the zone, right at the entrance of the Western
Got it.
So,
But rather than mix like.
What do you suggest?
right there.
okay, I would, it's street name, you guys off of Masaysay Street, I would, because it's sort of like a quarter stack within that area, so I would, say next side quarter. Short for Masaysay. Any discussion?
I think I said Chalano Pink. This one.
No, so I did speak to, few of the residents within that area, yes, Masaysay Court.
And is there only one court?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Is that confusing because you have Masaysay Street?
No, so that way they know what's on.
Yeah, because they know what, yeah, it's Masaysay Court, they'll know what it is.
The one court.
The first part that we get into.
Yes, the left.
I know what you're talking, that's when you said that thing, that you're talking about. I just didn't know what the name was.
I think it's just support for the residents.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So is there a motion on the floor to support the name of, that particular area?
Nate's making the motion. So,
I motion to support it. Second.
There's a motion by Nate to support the Masaysay Court,
There you go.
second by Ed, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, can we just go back to the
What?
Pacific?
Oh,
Because we can verify we have the GIS.
Okay.
There's no Chatham Pacific.
what's the GIS?
Village map for DPW.
Village map for DPW, okay.
When was that updated?
It's their.
Yeah.
It's up to date, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, good.
Bring it back.
That's with the DPR, DPW
Yes.
system,
As per
the
Chris.
GIS system.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice one.
Oh, we're all on research.
I move to approve, if that's updated. So I move to approve street name request going from Pacific Rim off of Route 32, Challen Pacific.
Okay.
Second.
Going back to old business, item C, there's a motion on the floor. Thank you, Bree, for clarifying that. Yes. Going back to item C, request going to Pacific Rim off of Route 3 to name that road Challen Pacific. There's a motion by Nick Dayeen, second by Dr. Brett Lehman. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So Challen Pacific it is.
Come back.
I think
It's all done. Good job.
I'm glad you looked it up.
All right, thank you, Bree, for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. New business, back to new business. Item C, as per our discussion earlier in our meeting, to ratify the amount distributed to organized sports and humanitarian services, which to include, as far as humanitarian services are concerned, is medical and fire. So earlier there was discussion, regarding the, amount that we approved in the beginning of our terms at 500, a cap, correct? There was a suggestion, regarding to raise the, amount to 750. Are we any discussion on that?
Yes.
Okay,
So if we're gonna raise, then are we gonna raise the minimum?
I don't
Like a minimum, no, but we also, we had a minimum.
yes,
Of
of
we had 250.
250.
And then a max of 500, so we're gonna adjust that. That's one, but then the second portion is gonna be 40. Right? Because I'm looking, based on the account, showing that our current balance ending at 87,049. About a year ago, we were at almost double. So we significantly see a drastic, not taking down.
Yes.
So before we decide to offer more, can we afford it?
Discussion,
Discussion
discussion.
first, discussion.
So, Dr.
I have a consideration too. So just because it's an NAF, right, non-appropriated, doesn't mean we can't set a budget ceiling for the year. And I think, to jump off of Nick's point, if we're going to raise the limit, because we can't even tell you right now we can afford it, what if $84,000 worth of requests comes through? I recommend we consider setting a limit per year that we give out, and then they come and they ask us, and we live within our means that way, right? So that we don't zero out just for, I mean, I'm here to support the youth too and all those requests, but, you know, we can't zero out and neglect to have money left to do other things for the village. Yeah.
So to Nick's question, to this question, I think the council members, if you go back, so the NAV is made up of, it also includes grant monies that are put in there. So when you see a drawdown, and if you come to that, your president, you'll see the drawdown for different projects that are also included in the grant. So even today, you will see drawdowns. So in the context, you are seeing a decrease in balance, but it's in the context of, all the other funds that are in there for other specific purposes. Now, when it comes to the sports, I know we did set the cap, but that cap is exceeded in other instances. So if you go back to all the financial, so there is, yes, I agree that we should set a limit overall for a budget. And that's, I think, the most appropriate way for us to tackle, to ensure that we are in a good budget. If you do go through previous months, you're going to see that cap exceeded. And not that I made a motion, but it's something that we've accepted in the past. Not that it's something we want to continue, but to the point, yes, I believe we should set an overall cap for all the sports included, so that we stay within the budget. So there isn't just an endless. It's not something we're overspending, but to the point, if you're looking also at the money's coming in and the money's going out, there's a net increase from the 12,000 brought in, 5,000 going out, 5,006. So you do have a net positive. So the mayor, vice mayor, as you further try and get us 300,000, I think, our share of the buffer strip. So that's still pending until we get access to that. But there's other resources that we're entitled to that the vice mayor is also working on. So just a quick discussion in context.
How do we come up with a number? Because we don't even know the breakdown. Yeah.
You go through all the historical requests, and then you just add them up, and then you see if there's a pattern of how much each year to year. ratification of, it's to ratify the amount, because it's already been distributed.
Yes.
So it's to ratify, what was on the chat. So yeah, I think if we had disagreed, then they would have not proceeded.
So, as for discussion, do we want to move, for that particular sports team that we already have? Do we want to move forward, like Nick had mentioned, and, Dr. Kirby, you mentioned, if it's feasible, if it's reasonable within our budget, then we can raise it, right? But, there's other things that happen within the community, and, our NAF is, our go-to when the appropriated funds aren't ready for us, in certain particular cases, right? Do we still want to stay with the 500? Or do we want to, like Robert had mentioned too, there is, within this NAF budget, there's the grants that go into the budgets, right? And then we draw between, Bree and Charlie have the ledgers as far as our drawdown from the particular fundings that we get as far as grants are concerned. Or there's a donation, we note it down that this was a donation from this certain organization, certain association or whatnot. A lot of our NAF funding, of course, you guys know, it's generated from our weekend flea market and our Tuesday night food trucks. So, we do use that account when our appropriate funds, especially when it comes to supplies, right, for the office or for the maintenance staff, or there's a community event, like we have several community events coming up. We have, we have Easter coming up, we have the Liberation coming up, we have our festival coming up and whatnot. So, we are going to be using some of those funds for our festival and whatnot. So, I would suggest that, we leave it at the 500 and the 250, and going forth, ladies and gentlemen, going forth, we will, of course, we've been transparent to this day, and whatnot. You guys see our financial reports, but we would, make sure that as far as that 500, because we're working on budget that we have, right? And taking all those other factors into consideration, that we stick to the 500 and the 250 for the individual. As far as sports is concerned, the only other thing I want to bring up too is as far as humanitarian donation is concerned, because in the event where we have a family that was displaced from the fire, or in the event where we have a resident that is going off island, granted that they have the proper documentation as far as medical treatment is concerned, I want to raise that amount for humanitarian to at least 300. Any discussion on that?
So, I agree that we should keep the cap at 500 max and 250, and maybe something that we can consider as far as a timeline where we can start a budget. That way, like whether it's June to June, allow us time to be able to regroup and not just make that decision tonight, but more so like, hey, till May we're still doing the cap at 500, but beginning effective June 26 or whatever month we decide, June to June we're going to cap it at this amount for that 4-month period. And I say this because and I think we're going to sing to the choir. We're going to say we're going to support kids, but we all agree to that.
Yes.
But the output that we're giving is significant in total. We look at it per year, but the visual that we see throughout the village doesn't balance. And I say that because we're going to support kids to go and to enjoy sporting events, to go out on, but there's other people within the community that we're obviously not supporting, and it's not because they're not part of a team. Like you mentioned, we've had challenges as a government in terms of the vanity. We've had challenges with government in the mayor's office, particularly for the backhoe, for things that we need to, for the mayor's office to be able to do the job. we're quick to assist and granted, we'll assist when we can, but, the primary responsibility is also to the benefit of the community and the people that it serves. So I think this is something that we need to consider, because like I said, man, I'm all about supporting the kids, but we support them to go on events and bring it out, but we can't even give them a safe street because there's cars, there's lights that are not there. So just something to kind of consider, like I said, but as far as the sporting event, or the sports team, I'm in agreement, I guess I would prefer to stick to the same path, right, 250 and 500, and whatever date, month we come up with in the future, that's where we will begin our effective dates in terms of, budget.
Noted. Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Comments?
Here.
AC?
I mentioned this before, and, so the broadband group, they do get that, and we also get that. So I mentioned to him, when someone, previously asked, and I said, we give them this money, and it's like we're saying, it's nice to go out and do stuff, but what do they do for our village? I'm not asking that we're paying them, but it'd be nice if they can enter, so they did this before, whenever the World Basketball Advisor at San Sanchez, we asked if they will enter for our local players, and enter, we want to see the clean up and pick the trash. And for us as a team, that was like, thank you, Mayor and Council, for helping us, but we would also like to give back. I don't think they would have a problem, but I think we need to offer that as a, maybe beautification, or thank you, for a check to you, but if there's a day that you can choose that you're a team, especially if it's team sports, those little girls run out and pick up trash. I mean, if you get the high schoolers asking, you get like, high school teams that play parties, they're asking, just to give back and kind of like, what our village, also really help throughout, just like giving up. We just give them money and then they take it and thank you and go play my game and then that's it. You know, we actually hear back from them.
And they may not necessarily know, it may be the coaching staff that's actually the one
That's
requesting it, so they don't really know or understand where that money actually came from. They just home here play, And I think I can say that too as a kid, I didn't know where the money came from, I just played it. My parents and everybody else took care of it.
Yeah.
We're very humble and Romano to make these things.
Same.
But, it's also like if we establish it that we can provide value for the tax tax love and stuff, because that's what I remember back in, was like 2009 doing. And it was never like, why do we have to trash? It was like, man, thank you, because it's hard to raise money. There's fun, there's car washes, there's trying to sell food there, so it's kind of the same, or we're asking them for money, but we'll also do this in turn for you. And I don't think they would have a problem with that. It's just a way of how you're going to bring that forward. But I think because that team showed that it's possible, and if we for every team that's asking, it'd be nice to.
Is that?
I want to make a comment now, based on what we're looking at in budget. We know we've been giving sports, and we've been using the funds to a certain area, like supplies. Maybe we need to do, I can work on them, a spreadsheet to see the trend, because we're gonna have, every year we're gonna have new people coming in.
Yep.
So we need to see if that cap can hold out for all, because it's gonna increase. My concern right now, due to our budget, and I think especially in our regular budget and this one, is we have to prepare for the mere fact that, remember this incident with the shutdown, especially with FEMA? If we ever have, in the future, we pray God we have, a storm, we need to have a backup plan for funding. It's like a rainy day type of fund, because, I don't mind being generous, but we still need to prepare, because the way they did the shutdown and everything else, I don't want to be caught, and then it's big glitch. People are gonna come to us for help. And we're going to use our NAF and, everything we can. We can't depend really so much on the governor. I mean, they'll give us, but to what degree? I'm trying to prepare for that.
To add to that, Mayor, if you could give us a breakdown of this $87,000, how much is it in Grant A, Grant B, Grant C? Robert made a point that this 87 isn't necessarily free for all, and it's probably not 87,000 we have to give out to the community. So if we can take a look at that, we can help determine as a council what the budget for the year could be, right?
That's true, because when you add other revenues into the same account,
Yeah.
we need to separate, so
Totally
we know
makes
what's
sense.
the true revenue and expense. Because we say, okay, every half, we generate from the free market, we have another spreadsheet, these are the grants,
Yes.
you know, and then, you know, we can use it, like, we need to differentiate, because we're not gonna, you know, just have to have grants, sometimes we don't, so I think we're just gonna need to, expand our financial program more.
Yes. That's-
And just to piggyback with Dr. Hagman, it's so important. We're here for service, but without the money, it's not gonna work. And so one, it's planning, just in general. People are very critical in how, even as board, as municipality deputy members, board members, they look at it as like, what kind of decisions are we making? And this is a reflection on both of you. I say this because I've been hearing a lot of like-minded things. And I find something upset, and I'm like, why are you upset and responding to these people? When, do you come at these meetings? What do you do to help our village? And that's my question I throw back. And I know what you guys do. You're taking a different approach, and I'm finding myself defending you. And it just changing their thinking that we need to be more responsible fiscally. Because I know for sure, there were grants that we lost in U.S. Department of Education.
Yeah.
And now we're thinking like, how do we still continue this, with this kind of funding, with the shortfall from the local government? We need to be fiscally responsible, because you're right, the reality is we don't know. With the things in rise in the Middle East, that can impact everything we do, okay? They may shift money and cut, I know it's just my opinion, this administration is cutting a lot. And it impacts what you do here and how it is received in this community. So I like the idea that we are being fiscally responsible. If you're right, it's gone down. We need a plan, and we need to say, okay, can we afford this? And if so, I like the idea, the data, what is the trend? Who's asking? Then we can honestly say, because we want to support everybody, but how do we do that? And what's that amount? And my weakness is fiscal, but I've come to realize that is key to make anything be successful, right? So I'm just, again, the importance of, when Marbar came, boy, I was at the schools, and those families were very needy. So how do we as a community come together? And they do. They come to you guys and say, how do you help us? And guess what? When you don't get help, it goes to the family, say, you didn't help me. And that may not really be the case, because you're going out. That's a form of some emotional support help. But in their mind, it's emergency, I need it now. Again, it's their perception. So it's just, I hate to say it, but it's also optics. And now what do you and proceed? So I just think we need to be be responsible fiscally. We have some people who know how to handle big budgets, and I'm going to defer to them, but I really think we should collect the data, see where the trend is, and see how we move forward with that.
Well, like you mentioned, look at the gas price,
I know.
and that's where you must, because the guys have to always go out.
Yeah.
You know it, and everything, everybody needs.
Any other discussion on this topic? Okay, so we are just gonna keep for now until we come up with that spreadsheet, that 500 and 250, right? So there's no need to make a motion to go, we're staying in the same plan, I mean, the same suggestion we did.
The motion was 500, minimum 250.
Yes, so we'll
At
just
this
stick to
point,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
Which we get the data, and then we can adjust.
So basically, the data is just the breakdowns of who everything is pretty much on the financial, but more better of a breakdown to where, what money, like say for instance, the grants, the GIA grants or whatever it may be. I know we do have a ledger for that, it's not provided here, but we can get to that, hopefully by our next meeting.
Sorry, can I add another comment?
Sure.
Just to add on to what everyone's saying, and not to prolong the meeting, but, as we mentioned, we're gonna try to shift our focus depending on time of day and what's going on in the world. And there may be a point where we might have to say no, we might have to say, have to stop.
And certain things may just be like, it's gonna be a hard no. Yes, we have done it in the past, but given, the current situation, like in the past, we're hearing, the media storm approaching this week.
Yes.
We may have to put a halt to certain things, and, it's not necessarily a want, but it's kind of what we have to do, in order to be able to adjust, right? If we did have a storm, we're gonna have to stop and say no to certain things, because we may have to shift our focus to, some type of humanitarian, like you mentioned, whether it be bottles of water, fuel, to stock up on, because our community, the school that Maria Joe is gonna turn into, or Stimble is to a shelter. So we may have to shift our focus to that, because it ultimately, we're here to serve the community a better way. And we can't necessarily rely on American Red Cross and the executive branch to assist us, because this is also part, like you mentioned, Vice Mayor, rainy day funds, right? Kind of like we all do personally, we have money stored aside for savings in the event of natural disaster, in the event of a furlough, whatever it may be. So just moving forward, I think that's something that we also need to consider, is we may have to say no to certain people, and it's not because we want to, but it's because we have to.
Thank you, Nick, for your comment. Any other comments or discussion on this topic? So we are sticking with what we did. What we decided we would do. And get more community involvement as far as the organizations like the owners. And the last one, yes, was the owners. And then you guys are aware that, we've done it in the past where certain teams, they didn't come out and do some work. We have the Denver Hurricanes baseball team that they take care of the Estumo Gardens baseball field and basketball court and the playground. They're the ones who cutting the grass up there for, I believe, almost about a year, if I'm not mistaken already. So they are going to be putting, and you'll see it on our, it's in our pathway here, but I'll bring it up in the announcements. So we're good on item C. Moving forward, item D, we have several events coming up. This is a request, and here we go, for allotment on the Easter event and festival coming up, the Avocado Festival, and then the Liberation event coming up. So with first is the Easter event. We have that happening on April 4th. Breeze about done with the flyer. We'll send that out to you guys so you can submit it. It's almost going to be pretty much the same thing as what we did last year. It was a successful event last year. A lot of smiles on the kids' faces and the parents come on Easter on that day. It's going to be on Saturday, April 4th, right before Easter. So we did, I think Bree had sent that out in the chat. We did send out some solicitation letters already to certain organizations and businesses and whatnot, and we have been getting a lot of positive feedback as far as donations are concerned. So with that said, we have the sister squadron company, this is the Marines that are going to help us on that day. They already committed to help us for our Easter event. But as far as the request for an allotment for Easter, as far as our cap is concerned, depending on the donations that come in, I think we maybe probably can set a package as our community Easter event and for the kids and whatnot. So I just let you guys know that we will be transparent as far as what we're going to be spending. But if there's something that you guys want to set forward for us, I know we kind of discussed it a little bit earlier for future engagement as far as from the NAF is concerned. For our Easter event, I will just let you guys know that, as far as transparency is concerned, to what we're going to be spending. Is that okay, or are you guys going to set, do you want to set them out for us?
Well, how much was it last year?
Well, last year, I know we spent, we don't have a spreadsheet on that, I don't have one, but I know last year, I think we spent almost, with the donations, we spent about I believe 3,500 last year.
And that's,
Could be more.
I'm just saying it's a good marker
Mm-hmm.
to kind of look at how much you spent and you said successful. You need to look engaged to see if that's how much it's gonna be, right? Because I'm just saying inflation even in a year
Yes.
has happened. So if you're saying we spent 3,500 and that's not including donations, did I hear you correctly?
Yes.
So we need to look at that, like overall. What would that look like if it's gone up? Are you looking at, what are you proposing for the budget?
Well, the last year, I know we were able to, with the budget that that was basically that we were able to buy like, prizes and, treats for kids, and then we also had, I believe, the, JJ group, Miss McPeace, and, they had their little training that we paid for that, and I believe, do we have Dmpc donuts last year?
No.
No, we didn't have Dmpc donuts, and then we had to purchase some other prizes. And then the eggs that we thought that we were gonna have enough of, we donated some eggs last year, and then we were able to get some when we went off island. But, we purchased some eggs that, we weren't able to get enough of from the donations.
Okay.
Yes, and that's why when we did that, when we went off island, we were able to get some plastic.
So, most of them are plastic eggs.
Majority of them, we have to make sure, remember last year, we have, it was all over the news where the egg prices went up to cartons. So a lot of our businesses, they weren't, a lot of businesses, they weren't donating eggs, so that's why we resorted to buying a bunch of plastic eggs with the other donations that we had. So stuff that was candy.
Yeah, so what if we had a bunch of plastic eggs that are empty, and then they bring in and they redeem? So you're not giving prizes, and you're not putting prizes in the egg too. And then we keep the eggs for the next year, you know what I mean?
Like a redemption.
Yeah,
That's smart.
That's actually,
Yeah.
thank you.
And then you your eggs, this is what it is, this is what you
You
get.
only get a friend when you return it.
Then when you get
Yes,
That's a
like
good
that.
idea. That's a good idea.
Actually, it is. He's a business friend.
The regulator, the gas station, you gotta give your ID.
Yes,
You're gonna get it back.
but you got free air.
Because they're making more prizes in the eggs, and they're really getting more prizes.
That's actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
They
sense.
turn their eggs.
that's a great idea. That's a Disney like
Every year we're
business
gonna like,
idea.
oh man, we keep eggs, you know what I mean?
And the egg price is very
Same
same.
time, we're not, what do they do with all those plastic eggs? Just throw it.
If I.
That's true.
I don't think
They're only opening it for the candy and the stuff.
Yeah,
They make the trash, you know?
leave the eggs in.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good redemption. Exchange.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Like tickets, but.
No, we didn't talk to that because we.
Cause we're gonna melt. I got my chocolate in
But
it.
to answer your question, I think, maybe we can get a understanding of a cap or even a general number, and then
Yeah.
we can go from there as far as,
Like,
what we do and all
Like
of the
spend more than-
items of cash flow or expenditure.
So, an amount,
Yeah, if you can get a general number of the amount, then you can, I guess, agree or disagree, or, find, happy medium.
okay, since this is an invitation, or when, yes, right now.
Just timing to the mayor's gotta act, this is April, we are March,
Yeah.
there won't be another meeting.
Yeah, I did it with you on the chat.
That's, yeah. Oh.
Okay, so you guys are okay, I was thrown on the chat, correct?
I think,
I mean, last year, like I said, I estimated 3,500 that we spent, right? But I'm looking maybe this year, because we wanna do a little more, like every year we try to improve from last year. Not to say that last year was unsuccessful, because it was a great event, a lot of good positive, feedback. So, we wanna do a little more this year. So I'm looking at upwards up to 5,000, I mean, we may not exceed 5,000, but, we'll keep it within.
so Connector, I think it's good if you put that in the chat, and then we
Okay.
can just make a motion, second it, and it's reflective on the chat.
Okay.
So if you're saying 5,000, is that you just throwing out a number, or is that, that's what you're like kind of, that's cap, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but I doubt I doubt it, if we get to that 5,000, but like I said, we spent almost 3,500 last year, so I just, because we want to do a little more to go up to 5,000, but like you said, I will just let you guys know on the chat. Is that okay?
Yeah.
No.
He's like, I'm changing my numbers right now.
Yes. Okay.
You guys are hard.
Yes, a lot of, yes, prices everywhere, obviously, you see the gas, oh my God, it's almost $6.
think those will be great prices for our, just anybody at this time.
Okay. The festival, our avocado festival, our first avocado festival is we're looking at having it in June. The dates have been confirmed already with the farmer's crop as far as that property is concerned. So a little more information will be coming forth. That will
It's a good
That's
space.
good space.
Yes, a lot of people are already asking us exactly what's going on. So, Bree and our staff, together, with our meetings that we've been working very hard to come up with ideas and whatnot. There's still a lot of planning more to come, but we will let you guys know.
Can I,
Sorry, you're saying the farmer's market, the current?
The flea market, yes.
The current.
Yes.
So how is that, is it gonna be on?
It's good. We were looking at 3 days, but we are just gonna keep, because this is our first one, we want to keep it to 2 days.
I mean,
Yeah,
how do you
yeah,
see how
yeah.
it
With the
goes?
flea market.
You're gonna have any issues with the current flea market?
Although we already been telling our vendors on Saturday and Sunday that we are going to be having a festival in June, and they're giving the heads up already in exactly what's going to be happening around that time. So they're well aware of it. Yes.
I just wanted to, I remember, I remember the discussion last week, and I was also thinking about it. We still have the old property.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, so I suggest, we're talking about revenue, so you can have either multiple events or having one section, another section there, because you kind of disperse also traffic and foot traffic, so there's not congestion. Yale Street is going to be very difficult to traverse, and there's other areas. So just as a thought, you have the old food market, that you have all that concrete space that you can truly rent, and then overflow parking can be across the street at the park where that used to be, also. So just throwing out that suggestion is that you can maximize, you can disperse traffic, foot traffic, so you cover more. You might be able to do more events, more ideas coming up. Where one could be, maybe the performing arts in one location, the vendors on the other. You got, you're able to handle. We are the largest village, so and then we want to invite everybody to. So just a thought.
that was for the old location.
To incorporate or.
Well, we need them.
How much are you looking at? What's the budget for that, Mayor? Because I'm gonna just say this. This is a big event, and anything like the first event, we need to go out the bat. So years after that, I can say I want to come back. So I know like the Mango Film Festival is huge because they put one here at the main Mall intersection. Yeah, so people go there, right? I'm saying I'm from Denver, when I go there, because I look forward to it, right? And be entertained. So I'm just saying, what does the budget look like? What do you foresee that as we're looking at? If this is our first one, I really think we need to kind of go like with a wow, because I think anything afterwards, it's gonna be like, no, wow, it's a good impression. So I just would like to know, like, as we move forward, what is the budget looking like if you're gonna do this wow event?
Well, I know it's gonna cost a lot. It costs a lot to hold any kind of festival, right? We're gonna be looking out for sponsorship, and there's quite a few organizations and businesses that want to sponsor this because they've been looking forward to it. And we always joke about this before, where our festivities every weekend, right? The flea market and our, former mayors of ours, and we, bring that up to, to this day, we'll joke around with everybody that, hey, we have a festivity every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, come on by. But in all seriousness, as far as an actual food festival, that the avocado festival, everybody's been excited for. There's a lot of, quite a few businesses that really want to take part in this upcoming event. And being that it's our first event coming up as far as the festival is concerned in June, I'm hoping that with these organizations that want to sponsor us, we get those in-kind donations we have our NAF, I haven't really sent them out, so we're just waiting on those, the solicitation letters we haven't sent out yet because I had to confirm with the co-op, we haven't sent out yet for the Easter, for the avocado festival event. Because, we have Easter and we have that, and everybody knows, wow, we have Easter, and you guys are very busy. But we've got a lot of good feedback, and they're excited, especially our vendors. A lot of our vendors, and we are gonna set fees as far as for the rental space units. We are looking at, within those fees, we're gonna set certain, because, we're gonna have the security, we're gonna have the trash fee and whatnot, all those things are gonna be incorporated into the actual fee amount for a space, yes. And the lighting and all of that, we're gonna have to take all of those into consideration, we got power, we got security, we got trash detail, especially with the traffic control around that area, the parking, I believe, is Apple, I've seen it at FestBack, many years ago when they had FestBack, we did get a big crowd, we will have traffic control, but as far as a cap is concerned and fees, we will incorporate all those fees, remember, we still gotta get inspections from certain agencies as far as like fire department, we have to reach out to them, public works, public health, right? A lot of our vendors, especially our food vendors, they do have their proper sanitary permits, and they're all excited and waiting for this. With our novelty vendors, everybody has their, or most of them have their, I believe it's called a peddling license, if I'm not mistaken, to sell. So a lot of our vendors are pretty much in compliance already. So the same vendors, the vendors that you see from different festivals throughout the island, different villages on the island, you'll probably see them up at the festival in Denver. Okay.
Sorry, I have a comment.
Yes.
They're asking, is the bunny gonna be there?
Is the what?
The bunny.
The bunny?
Back to Easter.
The Easter bunny.
Somebody's actually.
Oh, sorry, yes, our online visitors, our online visitors. But yes, we will have a bunny. We just gotta make sure he's fit, he fits the suit.
Someone's listening, that's great, and we welcome you.
Okay,
Sorry, can I add one comment?
Yes.
Just a suggestion, maybe for next one, so when we have it, maybe, we can just get an average between the other year, we can get info from them. The other,
Okay, so we've been.
Banana Festival.
yes, actually, I'm glad that you bring that up, because we've been working closely, because, Agate, Haget, they've been helping us out a lot, because they have the longest running festival going on, so, of course, we looked out to our colleagues from the different villages that have festivals to see, the do's and the don'ts and what to do and what not to do and how to do it and not to do kind of thing, right? So yes, we will have that a little more information on our next meeting for sure. Okay? Okay, moving on. Members input.
Can I go first? Just
Oh,
because I have to go. Sorry, I'm my mom, I didn't go to work today. So, no, it's true. I mean, really true. I didn't go in to take care of my mom, so, and she's texting me. Several things, people from Legal Terrace, which I represent Legal, because I grew up in Legal. But yeah, LT forever. But the reality is they were asking, the situation with the abandoned cars. So as you go through, I mean, that's a big issue. Residents said, hey, I didn't realize you're representing Legal Terrace, and they approached me at church. And basically, like, ordered me, but basically was saying that we're not the abandoned cars, and I did say there is a cap with the money, and they already identified. And it's hard to escape being, and there's only one company, at least that was my rationale, and I hope they're listening. So I'm conveying the concerns of the people from Legal Terrace. So that's my input. The second thing is, they are having more people run, like I said, or walk. And again, the trees, that's what's brought to me is, why is it taking so long to get them to have the trees or whatever, because it's a busy place where people walk into the morning. Just saying, and they fall over stuff because of the teachers are sort of, treating off of the fence between the fence, so those are the two concerns, and then and the last one are stray dogs. So, Mayor, I know that this has been brought to my attention, because I don't know what to say about the stray dogs. It seems like it's a problem all over the island, but I definitely want them to know that I'm raising this concerns that were brought to me, to this council.
Thank you, Katie, for those concerns. I mean, those three things that you just brought up are always going to be on any mayor's list, more particularly here in the village of Meadow. But to answer your question, as far as the cars are concerned, that program has been turned over to the Department of Public Works.
And tell them.
The at the mayor's office is no longer responsible for that, but we do go out there and assess it, and we work together with the particular agency to make sure that I've been approached before, because when I was vice mayor, I done it plenty of times. And, the agency that now is kind of that's in charge of it right now, as far as they ask us, Vice, how did you, or Mayor, how did you deal with it? There's a lot to it. And now the recycling centers, the requirements just got a little more heftier as far as the cars concerned. They basically want the upholstery out. They want the chairs out. They want the plastic dashboards out. So basically, it's kind of hard, but I got some positive feedback from the administration a few weeks ago that they have something lined up that's going to happen soon. But it's going to be hard because they're only allotted a certain amount to move a certain amount, and with the restrictions that recycling centers are having or that are requiring, life just got a little harder for any agency that's going to take it, or that's going to be responsible for
So,
moving the cars.
Mayor, I hope they're watching it, but can I say that safely to say it's been transferred to DPW and you're working closely with DPW?
Yes, they reach out to see how we've done it before. Of course, knowledge is key, right? So of course I'm going to share what we did, and how to make life easier for everybody, because it's hard to, I think the hiccup is going to be a staging site. Another thing is going to be the requirements from the recycling centers on what they're asking for. But, I got some, like I said, I got some positive feedback from the administration about a week and a half ago, and we hope for that thing is going to go pretty soon, as far as the wheels rolling on that.
Okay.
Yes, your second question, as far as your second concern, as far as the dogs are concerned, that is, more, I mean, we've been working closely with animal control. Okay?
What department is that?
That's Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
We've done, we work hand in hand with them. They're down to, I believe, only 3 animal control officers, if I'm not mistaken, for the whole island. So it's kind of hard, but, we do our best to go out there and get that problem with the dogs.
Okay.
Yes.
And I could just convey that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We might go around.
So, yes, I don't, and I'm happy that we do have people attending the online watching, because it also reflects them. So first of all, apologies for not being present for the last few meetings. I had
It was on
an addition
paternity.
to the family, but also I thought I didn't last month. But I wanted to share the kind of lost my train of thought, but a few things here is, first of all, thank you to you and your team. We have been, the roads have been a little bit more bumpy due to the speed bumps that have been placed out there, which is a positive thing because it's been something that the community has been asking for. So thank you to you and the team for, going out there and putting those speed bumps. I am pro-government, and supporter of the bill. I will say to the public out there as well, right, that I have seen the mayor and the staff, as well as the other government agencies doing their part. They are also challenged financially, and it's unfortunate when it comes time we're talking about the abandoned vehicle. It's not just that though; it's everywhere. As a first responder, I respond to it because people are burning them, but also, like you mentioned, right, there's been some challenges and there's new, not ideas, but there's new things in place, set in place that in order for you to move vehicles. Unfortunately, we have to transition, like we have to transition that over to the Department of not that you're passing the buck, but that's just how the presently working, right? We all know that, in the past, like you took the lieutenant governor around, you showed him what you cleaned it up, and then a month or two later, you took him back and everything was back there. So it is also the community's part, and I share that to those out there viewing, that is also the community and this is their part. The mayor can do only so much, and then yet people are out there doing, dumping cars again. So, it's not that it's their fault, that they're not, well, they're doing this, they have, but it's also the citizens in the community that are out there that's placing these vehicles there. I wanted to share the first responder too, also the backside of the Harmon Sports Complex, South of Blue, right? We've been there before, we've cleaned it up, and, I was just there like 2 weeks ago, and it's gotten significantly bad again, but also the overgrown, the vegetation that have also started to cause damage on the first responder vehicles that are trying to pass through, because now the road is very tight, and then also the vegetation ahead. So, it's not, and I'll keep saying that it's not just the mayor's fault. We can't keep putting everything on the mayor and the staff to be able to handle this. We need to do better as a community. We need to do better with educating, and also teaching them that, hey, this is, you're gonna blame the elected officials, but reality it's our citizens that are putting these things in. So that's one. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, the stray dogs, as you mentioned. I have seen the Department of Agriculture out there, doing things, but yeah, they are challenged too, and you can't explain the mayor and staff, because even myself, when I come to places, I'm like, I'm not just gonna go, I am no expert, I'm no dog whisperer, so I'm not gonna go over there and try to take things into my own hands, right? So, yeah, we utilize our resources that we have out there with the other government agencies, like, we use mob behavior when it comes time for situations, that we use agriculture when it comes time for certain things. We utilize DPW when it comes time for that. So, just so the community is aware, the Federal Mayor's Office is not the one-stop fix-all type of thing. There is a process, and we allow them, and we also trust that that's what the routes that they're taking. So that's all that I have from my perspective.
I have a question on those street market. I don't know the interest is the DPW or the office.
Well, we had some funding from a grant a while back, and we were able to purchase a certain amount of speed bumps, but with that said, everything's around the budget, and with that amount that was given from that particular grant was for community safety grant. We actually had used all that funding for speed bumps, we only were able to buy a certain amount, and what the requests we got, we were just overwhelmed as far as the requests and what we have to purchase the speed bumps. Yes.
If we're going to provide those speed bumps, can we just install them ourselves or?
Well, it's happened in the past before where, once we run out of that certain amount of speed bumps that we purchased from the certain grant or budget that we had for a speed bump, we had individuals, residents throughout the village in certain areas, they're willing to purchase the speed bump. We at the mayor's office don't sell speed bumps. Let's just clear that real quick. We do not sell speed bumps. But the residents themselves, knowing the safety of the community in that area and understanding what we go through as a government agency or as the mayor's office with our budget, what we're allowed to get, they pitch it out to us like, Mayor, Vice, what if we buy the speed bumps and you guys install it? Granted that we are in compliance with DPW as well as our first responders, then go ahead, buy it, you guys buy it, and we put it up. And it's happened in the past.
Okay, so if you went to purchase it, was some of our new willing to buy it? If we're going to sell it, are you going to pay you or they're not like?
Yes, please do, and that's what we advise. If there's residents out there, for one, thank you very much for understanding what we're dealing with as far as the budget is concerned. But at the same token too, please don't put it up yourselves. Call us and we will install it for you, because we want to make sure that we do it the right way, and not only that, in compliance with DPW and as well as our first responders.
That's good. That's a question on this, right? Those people shut it up, because I'm so positive on things.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just want to say thank you, Nancy, for all that you do. I think that there's a lot of great discussion here, but I know your resources are limited. There's a lot that this administration should be doing, and the funds, grant money is just not enough. And so that's why the DPW, the grass cutting, all those things have been moved away from the mayors, because there's just no way physically possible to do it with the resources they have. So just in that context, so as much as we'd like to get out of the mayor, there's only so much that they can do with the resources they can. We hope that the administration will do a lot more. One of the things, as I think as Nate also mentioned, the residents have to do their part. And maybe we can, the mayor think about some time campaign, just to promote the mindset, take pride in our village, and just, kind of put out these signs and say, take pride in our village, clean up our streets. Like my family, and Mayor knows this, we adopt a bus stop, we bought different places where we clean, we get the kids to clean. My neighbors, they'll drive by while I'm cutting the grass at the bus stop, but yet they'll send their kids to walk over the tall grass, walk over the trash, all of that. We call the police station because guys on Sunday afternoon were drinking at the bus stop. It's things like that we, as a community, really need to take pride. And I think that, there's only so much that we can put at the mayor's doorstep. I think, and it's also reflecting of our constituents, the residents of Benedale, to also do their part. So, thank you, Mayor.
Just two things, money related. There was recently, the Fix and Six has been doing some community meetings, and I'm not sure, our mayor's office was represented at the latest, hazard mitigation presentation. But other, mayors were there for their respective villages, and a lot of good information came out from there. One of them, so this is the hazard mitigation piece, they did share that they're expecting the portal to be open on March 31st. And so, I was thinking, we can probably come up with several things here that the money can go toward. And when we think of hazard mitigation, it's basically what facility or what can we do to harden the things that we own here in Bendigo that are probably used for our residents, right, during natural disasters. So I'm not sure if the office is already preparing like a proposal or anything, but March 31st is the anticipated portal opening.
Yes.
So
Actually, the vice went to a meeting for one of the Fix and Six meetings regarding the mitigation process for Fix and Six. Yes.
So they did share that there's $52 million that was set aside for hazard mitigation. They were able to also, in this particular presentation, share examples, for example, from the village of Sinahanya of the success stories that they've had putting in their proposals and then getting it funded. And that's also how your art center was built.
Yes.
But for this one, I mean, maybe we're not coming up with new ideas, but more so how to sort of support the needs that we can't afford, right? Like for this one, or somewhere else for residents to seek shelter from. The other thing is, and it's a lot smaller, it's definitely not $52 million, but we were talking about, I think your clutch basketball thing earlier, and it just kind of sparked a thought of, I mentioned this before, but we in our prevention and training branch give out small grants, so it's under 20, so it's up to $24,000 for communities or organizations to put together programs for the summer, for spring breaks and stuff like that, where we can serve our youth where we give our youth opportunities, that are healthy. So it's all about drug misuse prevention, it's about promotion. So I'm not sure if the council wants to take something like that on, or the office wants to take some advice, if you wanna take the lead on that, but it's pretty simple, and, I can provide more information. I just think that our municipality is so big, and we have to diversify our funding here, right? And so we're getting a lot from the flea market vendors, we're also waiting on that buffer, miracle to drop down, but we also are serving the biggest, population, so I think we need to be a little bit more aggressive at, figuring out other ways to bring funds into the village. Okay, and I'm offering myself to help in whatever way I can, but I think that's probably where you're more familiar with too, from the previous, jobs.
Yeah, what we did was since last year, they opened the UGD grant from Gura. I just submitted this they gave us a questionnaire on what we were looking at. So one of them was, more or less the community anti-food shelter, because last year we had a town hall meeting, and people were wondering why we were always using the schools for shelter. So we're looking at, what we wanted to see is, we don't want just a big super building for shelter, we want to put it on key locations, because the whole point is, after, they stay there, it would be converted to, a two-tiered shelter, because they still have to go out and assess their damage of their homes, and until, the government or FEMA to kick in, we can't let them be homeless, period. That's the main thing. So the whole thing about the shelter is stop the schools. Stop, because we have a lot of opinions here from people why we always use the schools. So that was one of the offer, grant portion. Another one was, just submitted also was, have a lot of, remember for the kids, we need more of that type of basketball court on the different areas, especially the fact that Belleville is known as the largest low moderate income LMI. That's why we need to help our community for our kids both physically and mentally, by having different gyms like that for them to utilize in our village. So two things, it's a shelter and the community building, you don't have to be big, you can put a little bit here and there, but at least we have it in certain locations. So those are only two things we're really focusing on the grant at this time, because we want it to benefit the community as a whole.
Thank you.
Just a comment real quick on that as far as the statistics of the CMOG or not. But yes, we will reach out to you a little more as far as that second topic that you brought up. But I want to thank the vice and as far as the fix and six is concerned, she's been attending a lot of those meetings where we're getting a lot of valuable information. But yes, that's noted. Just most recently, I spoke to our colleague from Sedania, and he had mentioned, he's going to be helping us out. He's going to be reaching out. As soon as he gets back, he's going to reach out to us exactly on and coach us a little more on exactly how we can approach that aggressively. So that, like I said, that or the biggest village population, right? There's so many activities we can think of to do, and by the grants that are out there to get our certain existing facilities for what fixed up and whatnot, and then of course, open up for more facilities, or come more facilities, comes more responsibility, right? We gotta just make sure that within those plans, right, that we have a maintenance plan or whatnot, and we have ample staff to maintain these places. But yes, thank you for those comments, and we will be reaching out to you. That will be your advice to reach out to you regarding that second topic that you brought up. Thank you. Ed?
John, yeah, just like everyone else, thank you. This one?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, it was on.
Thank you guys, thank you and your staff. You guys have been doing a great job, and like everyone was saying, that it's speed bumps, people who fly to the villages and a lot of this, and I think the safety guys like a very top of the list, and like what Rob was saying too, like the community really needs to help out, and if we don't say it, we're not gonna know, right? So it doesn't hurt to go out there and just give messages out, like that we're cleaning, give suggestions of what they can do to help, and if one or two help, then that's something, right? And I also feel like we're always gonna need more. We're the biggest village, we already know all that stuff, right? We're always gonna need more, funding's always gonna be a problem. I mean, I think we need to figure out ways to tap into like things that we're really doing. Like, I mean, I don't know, if our guys are out there putting the tree trimming or whatever, right? And what are they gonna do to motivate? What if we took that like common value and put that a pot of flea markets for donation? You know what I mean? I don't know, any little thing, right? People can use that towards the firewood or whatever. It's just a suggestion, but if we can figure out how to tap into like more funds and just stuff that we're doing on a daily, then I think that can help really. Other than that, I know street dogs are always gonna be a problem, and instead of following my area, and thank you to Sean, for helping out with the traps and stuff. And there's one more thing, like my mom was asking about pothole, like Park Smart, in the single. So mom, I don't know if she's watching, but and we'll bring it up. Say, man, you know what, I have to only do this and this, and everything keeps the story. So thank you very much, and I feel like the council, it's nice to see more of them come in.
Yes.
And able to vote on stuff and not keep doing it, throughout the meetings because we don't need farm, but it's like, I feel like this is a very strong team, and if we keep it up, man, then it'll just gonna become very, very solid, so thank you.
Thank you, to answer that question as far as the potholes is concerned. Actually, we have a list in our office, that our staff, especially our administrative staff, inside the office, between our nurse and our AE and our recreational supervisor, we have a board in there to list the potholes, but to be quite honest with you, the potholes, we report to DPW. It's not like before where we were able to go out there and go to DPW, to the pit, get the material, and go out there and do it ourselves. Now, I'm not gonna, elaborate a little more exactly why we lost that privilege to get the material, but we have to go through the process as far as DPW's request is concerned. Is we report the potholes, give them location, and they send out their crew. Unlike before where we identify the potholes, we just call DPW, let them know, hey, can we go get the material so my guys can go do it. But those guys are spread thin down there at DPW, and very thin, like literally from an agency that many years ago from 1,000 plus employees, I think down to maybe like, I'm gonna say 400, I don't know, I might be wrong on that number, but with all of it making up bus drivers, right? A lot of things have changed differently, so we work together, as a government, right? As a people, we work together with the different agencies to tackle the many different problems that come to our village. So we will report that to that's actually around in Route 28. Yes, and thank you very much. Yes.
Well, now we have 8:30, so I just want to say thank you to everyone for showing up. Thanks to everybody,
Thank you. Guys, do you have anything to say? Yes, guys, I just want to put it on record, just thank you guys for coming up, and like I mentioned, we have a strong team here, we're here to discuss our challenges that we face in the village, and we got to communicate on exactly how we're going to tackle these certain different problems we have in the village. But yes, thank you guys, and it was nice to see all of you guys out tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I know we all live busy schedules, but yes, thank you very much, and I appreciate it, and we'll keep you guys informed as far as the chat is concerned. So, with that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Ed, second by Ace. It is now 8:31. 8:30.
Mine says 28.
He didn't.
8:28.
He,
Gavel down.
sorry, he didn't bring up about those sports papers.
Oh, sorry, we're adjourned.
Oh, no.
No, I will. Meeting is adjourned.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You know how it is, meeting. Yes.